Welcome back to Journal Reflection, where we do a section on a reflection through an interview. Excited today as we are exploring the topic, what is form, content, and context in visual art? For today's interview, we have Jacob Emo, coming off fresh from his first university lecture at Simon Fraser University. Welcome to the show, Mr. Emo. Thank you. And please, call me Jacob. Of course. Now, Jacob, tell us, what is CA 117? CA 117 is a contemporary art course called Modern Art History, where by definition by my instructor, Dr. Dorothy Baronscott, says, an introduction to the complex ways in which social and political change and ideologies of gender, class, race, and ethnicity work to shape aspects of 19th century visual culture in Europe and North America. Very interesting. Good luck to you in your first semester of university. Now, can you tell us the definition of form, content, and context? Form is all the elements in an artwork, independent of its meaning. This could be color, composition, medium, or even size. That's amazing. Now, how about content? It's the message or meaning of the artwork, and this message is organized. Essentially, what does this piece of art make you feel? And it's from your perspective, as everyone interprets things differently. It's also a value judgment. What is this story telling me? You can also break down content into primary and secondary content when it comes to analyzing films, which I will do a lot. Where primary content is identifying the basic synopsis of a storyline, and secondary content, which could be musical interludes that change how the viewers feel about the story. Disney is known to be really good at this. Wow, how extravagant. And finally, what is context? Now, context makes up about 50% of the artwork. It's the varied circumstances in which a work of art is or was produced and or interpreted. It is the meaning determined outside of the object itself. As society changes, the context also changes. It's also understanding the historical moments and aspects that led to the creation of that product. All right, so to put it simply, content is what the work is about, form is how the work is, and context is in what circumstances the work is and was. Yeah, that's exactly how Dr. Dorothy put it, word for word. How did you know that? I'm just a very, very educated person. Makes sense. Now, this is all great information, but do you have any examples that we can use to differentiate the form, content, and context of an object or artwork? Yes, I actually brought 3 items that I want to show off. The first one is this painting. Wow, this is a quite interesting looking painting. Did you buy it? Whoa, whoa, whoa. That would be getting into the context. Let's talk about the form first. Good point. Now, what can I say about its form? Well, it seems to be an 8 by 12 inch canvas, and it also has a lot of dark tones, and it seems to be made up of acrylic paint. Very observant. And what about the content? How does this make you feel? Cold. It reminds me of every summer when I go camping with my family, going through the wilderness and definitely jumping in the cold lake. Interesting. I thought it was more mysterious and secretive, but hey, your opinion is valid too. I will tell you about the context. About 2 years ago, I painted this. My sister bought some acrylic paints and a white canvas, and I felt inspired after watching Bob Ross YouTube videos, so I wanted to try his carefree method of painting. Have you watched that Bob Ross documentary on Netflix? Yes, I just watched it, and it's so hard to hear about all the things Bob Ross had to go through, all his ups and downs within his life. I totally hear you. Now, what other objects did you bring? The second thing I want to showcase is this thing. Ooh, a red iPhone 11. Seems to have some cracks and air bubbles on the screen protector. and an odd picture of Mike Wazowski on the back. Yes, thank you for describing the form, despite your description being a bit hurtful. What can you tell me about the content? Well, I don't think it really means much. Everyone has a phone, and it's not uncommon to see iPhones everywhere. Kinda basic, kinda unoriginal. Hurtful again, but thank you for your opinion. To summarize the circumstances in which this object was produced and given to me, I replaced my old iPhone 8 Plus with this about a year ago. My iPhone 8 was operational, but it was definitely time for an upgrade. I got this phone because it was one of the latest models at the time and it was at an affordable price. Thank you for that. Hey, do you know what the artist said the first time he visited the Louvre Museum? No. What? It was Louvre at first sight. Oh my gosh. Anyways, I brought this plant as my third item. Ooh, well, I can see it's an artificial plant. Got some dust on the gray exterior. I think you may have bought this from IKEA. And it's a very compact size, perfect for a display shelf. Very nice. And as for the content, this plant makes me feel safe. Even though it's fake, it gives me a peace of mind to know that this represents the beautiful nature outside. Knowing that I can go outside for a breath of fresh air and take in all of Mother Nature's beauty. That is a great way to describe this item. Yes, in fact, I did buy this at IKEA in the process of renovating my room. I wanted to display a plant for decoration, and yes, it's been sitting at the top of my bookshelf for a few years now, hence the accumulation of dust. That's awesome. Not the accumulation of dust, but awesome that you brought 3 objects for us to show to our viewers today. Now, for the question that's on all of our minds. What is form, content, and context in visual art? After seeing the breakdown of these 3 aspects when dissecting art, I believe that it is essential to understand form, content, and context when understanding modern art, and basically anything in our daily lives. Every single day, we make judgments on people, whether it be making an assumption influenced by music, dance, theater, film, or anything. Understanding the form, content, and context will allow us to make rational, detailed, specific judgments on basic objects. For instance, you wouldn't have possibly known that I'm the one that painted this without telling you that context. Without analyzing the form or condition of my phone, you wouldn't be able to tell how well I take care of my device. And also, you wouldn't have felt anything through content if you didn't take a hard look at this plant. To summarize, we all need to understand form, content, and context. It will help us become more understanding, critical thinkers, which in my opinion is what our modern day society needs. To understand each other's stories instead of making a judgment based off of first glance. Couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you so much for coming on to our show, and we wish you the best of luck for your first term in university. Thank you. I appreciate your time. Stay tuned for weeks to come. Thank you for watching this section of Journal Reflection.